as of this point in our lives, I don't think we've prepared for anything as hard as we have this like one big thing. And it was scary and it was fun, but I know deep down this is always gonna be one of those days that we're gonna treasure. When we first met in Boston, I was in a place where I wasn't sure about anything. I was between friends, between passions, and between homes. After we reached out and met each other, I knew I could talk with you about anything and everything. You opened my eyes to an entire world that we've brought with us here today.
When we met, everything was changing and nothing felt certain. Our first dates were outdoors in 2020, and we had to figure it out as we went. I promised then to stay by your side no matter how the world changed and no matter how we changed. It's 2024 and we've definitely changed, and I continue to make that promise. I didn't always know I was going to get married. It seemed like something difficult and something that you had to be really lucky to have happen to you, and while I thought it was a nice idea, I didn't know whether that was something that I should necessarily plan for. I'm from Mumbai in India. I grew up in Uganda for a lot of my childhood, and then I spent high school and that kind of stuff in India and college in Boston. And Brady was born and brought up in Ohio. We met in Boston College, far from home for him, perhaps not as far from home as it was for me, but still, it was both of us venturing out a little bit.
Yeah, the move from Ohio to Boston was tricky. Not the hardest in the world, but it was a big change, and I knew I wanted to try starting sort of fresh. I wanted to try, living in a city for a bit, sort of find out what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be. And I don't know, I found like a cozy looking place in like Boston and with Northeastern, and like college was nice, but it took a while, and it was only like after I kind of met Misha that I really felt secure and safe, and that like, I don't know, like I was starting to like make a home where I was. That was when I started feeling like I was carving out something real. So Misha was really cool. We were both in the video club. She was there a good bit longer than I was. She had like 2 years on me maybe in that club. She knew folks. She was kind of like higher up. She was cool. She knew what was going on. She was very funny, and she was really nice, and she was always like sort of keeping the room together and helped foster the sort of family.
We used to have these like film festival marathons, 24-hour film fest. So in 24 hours you would like be given like a random prompt, you'd write, shoot, edit, and publish like a short film. And I was not on his team, but I do know he was there, and I was rushing out of the office, and I stopped to go, "Nice hair," and he goes, "Thanks." And I was like, wow, like internally, I was like, wow, okay, that's really awkward. I'll never speak to this guy again, I guess. We worked together on a shoot once, and I enjoyed it a lot. I thought he was fun. I was like, I had the sense of like, I think we would get along if we actually like spent time together, but we never have an excuse to spend time together.
It was fun, it was messy, it was like, we were both kind of speaking to the first time. I was helping sort of lead the shoot, and she was too. I don't know, I just remember having a great day with her, and I don't know, I always knew I could kind of, from the first time I met her, I always knew I could like trust her. I knew she was a good person.
I always had the sense that we had similar hobbies and interests, and I really wanted to get to know him better.
It was such a fun and like sort of clumsy start that we had.
Our school had this is eons ago, they don't have it anymore, online Facebook group where people could submit anonymous crush confessions. And I had a habit of doing this for all of my friends, just to be nice. And I made one for Brady, and I didn't like think much of it, but a stranger, someone, whoever wrote me the confession last week, I've been thinking about it, you should reach out. Even if you don't want anything, you should reach out. I read it and I was like, the timeline matches up. Maybe I should reach out and ask if it's him.
It was really clumsy. It was really funny. She posted like an anonymous confession online, and like some friends in the club pointed it out and like, yo, Brady, somebody's crushing on you, ooh.
The way I did it was I took a screenshot of it and I said, was this you? By the way, I know who wrote the post. And he goes, no, it wasn't me. Anyway, who? And I said, oh, well, if you're not thinking about it that hard, then I guess I don't really have to tell you. She's an upperclassman. And I said, what would you do if you knew who it was? And he said, I'd probably ask them out to coffee. And I think it was about then that I was like, you know what, I'll stop yanking your chain. It was me. And he asked me out for coffee.
We asked each other out on Slack. I would like to say, for the record, we will take sponsorships. But then we finally like sat down and met each other and God, just talked for 3 hours. Like we just trusted the hell out of each other. Like it was kind of ridiculous, the stuff we talked about just like on our first date. Like we just kind of spilled everything that we were sort of thinking about. Like, I don't know, like I think we both got the vibe very early on that we could kind of trust each other and like just share things that we really kind of just were like bottling in, being like mid-college, like away from home. And yeah, we were like, yeah, we should do this again. And then we kept saying that.
I'm a very like risk-averse person. I try to be very pragmatic. So early in the relationship, I tried to make it very clear to Brady. I was like, we should be completely honest, and we should also be like really chill, and like even if we break up, I'll be totally fine. Like it'll be good. Like don't feel like emotionally burdened or whatever. And there came a point where I was like, okay, like no, I'm actually very emotionally invested. I think we just sort of like lay on the floor, like in the living room, and we had that conversation, and I think we should be official.
And we obviously have had like our own personal, like, you know, scary big steps going on. Like we were both in undergrad at the same time, but we had our own things happening. Northeastern was weird. We had like co-ops between things. We were able to graduate together, which was so special. That was really, really nice. I don't know, every step of the way we were there for each other.
So in the run-up, I knew that a proposal was coming, I just didn't know when. And it was literally New Year's Eve, so I was like, he's gonna propose this year at all? I wonder.
I was so on edge about the proposal. It was hard, it was tricky. It took a while. I think what I'm really proud of was the ring. I was able to get in touch with like the jeweler who did the ring for my parents. And we got this like lovely like custom engagement ring made. And I was all like picky about every little detail on it too, and that was fun. So it's like shaped like a chrysanthemum. It took me like half a year to plan it probably.
It was actually New Year's Eve of last year.
And we ended up getting like a nice dinner at like Blue Canyon, and then there were some like Christmas lights on New Year's around like Twinsburg Park.
And then he proposes at the lights, and it's beautiful, it's amazing. We drive around for a little bit just to let it sink in.
But I think it really did come out special. And it was, when it did happen, it was also like a little messy, a little clumsy, but it was like just as special as I was hoping it would be. And we had a really lovely night, and we were able to like celebrate with our families afterward, and like it was the whole start of a new year, and it was, I don't know, I was really happy with how the proposal went.
One thing I love about Brady quite a bit is he's a lot more laid back than I am, and he's a calming force in my life. But one of my favorite things about him is that when I'm like freaked out about something small or big, he's quick to put it in perspective and to sort of be like, it's okay, why are you like, it's gonna be all right.
Misha has such a big heart, and she's so dedicated to just everything she does. Every step of the way, it's been amazing to see how like dedicated she is to like putting her best foot forward, and how much care she has for like everybody in her life. It's profound. I don't know. She has this like special quality to her. Everybody here will note on it, and everybody does note on it how she's a magnet. She just like so affable. She can be friends with anybody, and like she's always so great to talk to, and she's such a trustable person. I've never known so much that I could trust somebody so much. It's really, really special. I always know that she has only like the best in mind. That's one of those just day one things I've known. Whenever I've been at like my lowest points, she's been there for me. And I've always appreciated that.
I think it's funny. He makes me laugh. And I like that because he makes me laugh.
And also, it's so special that she just makes me laugh as much as she did. It's always been important to me in my life. Like, it was one of the last things like my grandma said to me, is to have fun always. So like, I really treasure just being able to like laugh every step of the way, and know that there's somebody there who I can laugh with and joke with, and who always makes me smile.
I like that I can be myself around him. I like that I don't have to put on any pretenses.
She seriously does just power through everything to get to where she has been today. I've seen her do things that like I could barely imagine. She really is brave. Misha is brave. I'm always, every single day I'm impressed. I'm proud to be a part of her life, and I'm so happy for her.
I've learned how to sort of like let another person into my life and to sort of be let into that person's life in return. I think most of all, beyond all that, I think I've learned that you kind of have to be very vulnerable for it to work at all. I think, as much as I think that we did a good job, I hope, early on, I was very like dedicated to the idea of like never putting any pressure at all, like sort of like future-proofing. But what that meant was that like I couldn't invest as much in, because like once you decide you want to have like a really good relationship and you want it to last and you want it to be meaningful and to feel good, you have to do some things where like you have to like take a gamble a little bit. You have to sort of bet that it'll last and that they won't hurt you, because you come to a point where you can't just be like, oh, if he betrays me, I'll be okay because I thought ahead. I planned for this. Like, you have to just sort of assume that you're with someone who won't do that.
I really had to learn with Misha is just like about relationships, is sort of almost how to forgive myself and move forward, which is a weird one. But I used to always have this habit of like really getting in my head, or not just being able to like forgive myself whenever I would hurt others. I'm very much like a people pleaser, and like when you're in a relationship for that long, a part of it is the bumps and moving forwards. And there's been nobody in my life who I've been through so much with, and like kept moving forwards and kept smiling as much every next day. I've always like sort of figured like, oh, I mess up, that's sort of it. Just like, whoops, there we go. But like, we've always been there for each other, and like, we make mistakes, and we talk about everything that goes wrong, and I've always found that amazing. That's been something that's been very unique to our relationship, honestly. I've never had that with anybody else, and I've always found that very special. I feel like I've grown more as a person every single day that I've been with Misha. It's just a miracle, and like the product of both of us putting in so much love and time and care that we are where we are today. Every day, I'm thankful for the joy, the love, and the laughter that you bring into my life, and I vow to reciprocate it with all my heart. I vow to support you through school and work. I vow I'll always be by your side through any hardship we face. I vow to always be with you through the highs and the lows. I vow to be the best part of your family I can be. I vow to be by your side in all our endeavors. I vow to always be present and there for you. I vow to always stand up for you. I vow to keep our days full of as much fun as we can handle. I vow to always treasure your smile more than anything. I love you, now and forever.
Brady, I promise to love you and support you as we start our careers. I promise to be there through sickness and health. I promise to celebrate our wins and weather our losses. I promise to be there when things get hard. I promise to always be a shoulder to cry on. I promise you will always have someone to laugh with. I promise that this is not the last time you'll hear me make these promises. I love you, now and forever.
As much as Brady and Misha have pledged their love and commitment to each other, for the best of the University of Ohio, everyone is welcome and one.
To Brady and Misha, please enjoy a life full of joy that you have provided to all of us already. Know that you will never walk alone, and know that every step of the way, we will be there and loving you and carrying you to the best of our ability. Misha, welcome to our family, and thank you for everything you've done to make my son the man that he is, and for continuing to show a path to him to allow him to be the man he can be. And knowing that you guys are doing it together brings us joy and brings us peace. Welcome to the family.
think something I've learned through the pandemic and also just living life and getting older is that you can't really plan for that far ahead. And I feel lucky to be like making these decisions and I guess building a life with someone with whom I don't feel like I have to plan 10 years ahead, who's someone who will meet me where I'm at. When the time comes, I feel like we make our decisions together. And I feel like I feel like we always get them right. I'm pretty happy with the stuff we've gotten up to so far. I don't know, I guess I'm just excited to let life happen at us a little bit.
I'm excited. Our next steps are, we keep thinking we'll be at the point in our lives where we can see everything forwards, but it's consistently been foggy. I'm really excited for these next steps and every new decision that comes after them. Misha's halfway through her grad program, I'm a year into this new job. I don't know where we're gonna be a year from now or 2 years from now. We'll be together. I know that. I'm excited to see what Misha does. She already is going to do so many amazing things. I'm excited to meet all the people we're going to meet. I'm excited to see all the places we're going to go. Yeah, and I know it's all going to be okay because I know we'll be doing it together.
Our wedding day was beautiful and it was perfect, and all of our friends made it, and it was really nice, and all of the small things that I thought mattered so much ended up not mattering at all because we got married. It was beautiful, and all our friends were there to support us, and I think that whatever's happening 5, 10, 20, 30 years down the line, I think a lot of small things will probably seem very scary and very important, but when it all comes to a full whole, none of the details matter as much as the bigger picture and what matters, and it's a thing I think we know, but we always forget, and it's good to be reminded.
I know that there'll be some days like this in the future too, and no matter what time you might be watching this, I hope we both know that, as long as we stick together and put our best feet forward, we'll always have more days like this to look forward to.